So America is experiencing a homelessness epidemic. And at the same time that that is taking place, as you see an increase in people van dwelling and moving from place to place and ending up in certain places in America trying to park, you also have an issue of the crackdown on off-grid living. That would be people living on their own property in rural America without septic systems, without the grid, without utilities, and basically living in harmony with nature. And the mistake that a lot of people in this modern day dumbed down Americult are making is not connecting the dots between off-grid rights over here and solutions to the homelessness epidemic over here. And with the recent lockdown events during COVID-19, certain places in America, such as Colorado and others, the value of their land has doubled. It has even tripled in some areas, meaning that the land is so expensive in some of these areas that some people are actually going to have to leave and go back to the grid. And so the solution is not for a bunch of people to move to the same mountain towns in Colorado or places in America, but for there to be more rights for Americans in different states in the US so they can leave the big cities and not basically be stuck in these concrete jungles. Because when the grid goes down in some of these dense population centers, as far as I'm concerned, because people don't prep and they're not intelligent and they're not aware of what Russia's doing and they're not aware of what China's doing, a lot of Americans of various ethnicities are going to starve. There's going to be high crime, home invasions. There's going to be cannibalization. There's going to be human trafficking of women because the modern day Americans have their head up their ass and they have no idea how close we are to full-on collapse of everything. And the people that are the most influential in the media, the Glenn Becks of the world, the Alex Joneses of the world, they are so welcoming to white supremacy. They are so open to hatred of non-white human beings that they are not welcoming people of different ethnicities and religions and backgrounds into grassroots media. And the AI algorithm will actually suppress anyone speaking out against racism when the right wingers say that it's a woke AI. It's not a woke AI. And so this is a problem for many people in America that are not right-wing extremists, that want to live off the grid, that don't have an issue with people from other places, that want to live in harmony. And so if people really want to live in freedom, they're going to have to think for themselves. They're going to have to do research into what places in America might be ideal in their state. It's not realistic for everybody to go to Colorado. There should be like a movement in America, in every state, where people start pushing back against the rules and regulations, because everything is designed to keep us in the cities. Everything is designed to keep us paying $1,000 a month in rent, $1,500 a month in rent. And when everybody is basically living that way, they are allowing the system to vampire on them. And so their relationships suffer, their mental health suffers, their physical health suffers. And so in this modern day Americult, people spend their entire lives paying to live in these environments that are not, in fact, going to be the most safe environments in America when America comes under attack. There are certain places in America where the Russians have hacked into the local cities, shutting down 9/11 services, shutting down the library systems. And you would think that people in those areas would go, wow, this is a sign of things to come. But that's not what's happening. They're acting like nothing happened at all. It's very, very, very significant when Russia, China, or other nation states start hacking into your government and shutting down 9/11 services. And so because we're so divided now in America based on race, based on income, based on gender, I talk about gender warfare, how the men and women have been turned against each other. We're not really an America that is prepared to come together when the shit hits the fan. And a lot of women, they think that they're safer in these big cities because of the police. But what happens when there is no police? When the system collapses and they're no longer able to issue checks to those cops, the cops are going to go home and they're going to defend their families and protect their families. They aren't going to be freelance protecting people. So I've been advocating for years that people protect women and understand that human trafficking is getting worse in this society for multiple factors, but all that is going to skyrocket when the grid goes down. And if we were a more loving, compassionate, spiritual society that truly did respect God's children, no matter what ethnicity, no matter what religion they are, then we wouldn't be having this conversation. But the reality is, our society is basically being manipulated by Satan, and everything that is coming as a result of the ignorance of the people. And so the solution to the homelessness epidemic is for there to be greater compassion within society to realize that many people are one paycheck away from being homeless. I have survived homelessness. I'm not homeless at the moment, but because I have covered a lot of things on my channel that have made white supremacists angry, that have made people angry, that have a sworn allegiance to Russia, nasty things were done to me to cause me to move away from my off-grid retreat and back into this concrete jungle hell that I now reside in, all because I chose to speak up for innocent men, women, and children. Had I not spoke up for innocent men, women, and children, I would be living right now in my mountain retreat, somewhere else in another state, far away from this hellhole. And so what people need to do is develop compassion for all human beings. If you want God to come to your aid when the shit hits the fan, you need to have your own track record of helping other individuals. If you have a history in your background, okay, you can talk about ancestry and things of that nature and generational curses, and that's really important. But what's more important than that is whether or not you in your own life have sought to help other people out of the goodness of your heart. And I do advocate that people, in some cases, rise above ego and create content on various platforms while we still do have a grid. You don't have to use your own name. You can make up any name you want. And you can put out accurate information that can help people. And sometimes that does include exposing the actions of certain corrupt officials. And if you think that it's just about Donald Trump, or if you think that it's just about Joe Biden, the Democrats or the Republicans, right, you're not paying attention. The corruption runs deep in this country, down to local cities, down to local counties, down to small cities. And so in this modern day and age, if you have small towns and they have some sort of a ban against having chickens, or if they have some sort of a ban against an extra RV in somebody's backyard, then they are intentionally working against humans having housing. Housing is a human right, but the answer to our problems is not a massive welfare state where the government signs off on the check and basically they get to live in these micro apartments. And I have some experience in some of these apartments, and often what they do is they fill them with crackheads, they fill them with criminals, they film them with people that abuse their wives and girlfriends. And so what's broken about the modern welfare state, just so you know, is it doesn't prioritize people that are actually trying to do good, that are actually trying to help themselves. Okay, they will just be issuing out the welfare like this. And so many aspects of our society are broken. The welfare system, the homeless response system, public education, the prison industrial complex, policing, the court system is broken, and mental health is broken. So if you want to help me get some of my ideas out there, and if you want to get to know me on a deeper level and how much I've done to try to fight for the rights of off-gridders, there's a number of different ways that you can help, especially if you have a larger channel or if you have a larger website that gets a lot of reach. You can email me. If there's an email available at the time that you watch this, you can leave a comment down below. But you gotta evolve beyond the zombie apocalypse mentality of just consuming YouTube videos addictively. You have to participate. You have to develop the discernment to realize when you're coming across a content creator who's above and beyond the rest, right? So this is some of the basics that I wanted to share with you. If people want to really evolve beyond the nightmare of what's to come, then they need to work to be a part of the solution. Like the videos, share the videos, comment down below, and subscribe.